Hello lovelies, and welcome back to the second part of the Wet n Wild X Disney Villains collection. I am so excited to share another tutorial with you using some different products in this collection. So in the last video, we created a look using all of the products that I have that are based on the Evil Queen and Cruella de Vil, kind of making a red and pink look. And today we are using the other palette and the other pieces of the collection that focus on Maleficent and Ursula to create this beautiful purple and blue and green inspired look that I have on right now. So I am so excited. I think this collection is great. It is beautiful. I love the contrast of all the different villainesses, and I am so excited to show you this tutorial. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. To start out, I've already applied my base makeup, everything except for my blush and my highlighter, and I wanted to use the blush and highlighter from this collection and go ahead and try those out on the skin. So let's go ahead and start with the blush. I've got the two blushes that go along with the eyeshadow palette for today, the one for Ursula and the one for Maleficent. They are a little bit darker than the ones from the other two villains, the Evil Queen and Cruella de Vil. So the Ursula one is a little bit more on the purple side, and then the Maleficent one is a little bit more almost on the brown side of things. This one is called Sea Witch, and this one is called Dark Wings. So I'm really excited to try these out on the skin and see how they apply. I really enjoyed the blushes from the other two villains, so I'm really excited to try these out. I really love the packaging that these blushes come in, just kind of this little plastic package that has a little dome on the top. I think it's really cute. It says Disney Villains on the side and then Wet n Wild on the other side, just like the blushes from the other two villains. For Maleficent, we've got her dragon head, and then for Ursula, we have her tentacles. So I think these are really cool designs. So then the top of them just kind of screws off like this, and we can see the actual blush in there. I think that is really, really pretty. I absolutely love the designs for these. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did on my first video. I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques contour brush. This one is just kind of a small brush. It gives you the most impact with your blush color. I think it's a really useful tool for this. I know it's not really a blush brush, but we're going to just make up the rules and we're going to use this brush for this. So I'm going to dip into the Sea Witch shade, Ursula shade first, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other video. I'm going to pick up one, put it on one cheek, I'm going to put the other on the other cheek, and then I'm going to blend the two and see how well they blend together. So just picking up some on my brush, just tapping it on, and then just tapping it onto the cheek, and just applying that pigment. It does come or it does go on pretty light at first, so it's definitely very buildable. That's what I noticed with the other two blushes in the last video. So definitely just tapping it on and building up really helps to just create the color payoff that you want, and really helps just to blend things in. And that way you don't have too dark of a blush at first. You've just got a little bit of color if that's what you like, or you can definitely make it darker, which I tend to like more blush. I like a lot of color on the face with my eyeshadow and everything, so definitely I don't mind a lot of blush, and I really want to build this up and get as much pigmentation as I can just to really create a really pretty look. So I don't want to take my foundation off, so I am just kind of tapping this on and just kind of allowing it to blend into the cheek and really build up that color. It is very, very buildable. You can see I'm putting multiple layers, and it's really adding to the color, creating a very, very pretty look. So I'm very happy with this color. I think it's a little purple, a little pink. So it definitely is very pretty on the skin. Very creamy. They are cream blushes, so they go on very nicely, very smoothly. They have a nice little glow and sheen to them, which I really like. I think that just looks really nice. So I'm going to clean off my brush, and then we'll apply the Maleficent shade over on the other cheek. So I've got that Maleficent shade now. I'm going to go ahead and take the cap off. It is so pretty. I love her little dragon face on there. I think that looks really, really cool. I love the kind of a raised embezzled look on these. I think it's just such a cool design feature. I think they did a really great job with it. So I went ahead and cleaned off that brush, so I'm gonna just use that, just tapping into this shade and going in on the other cheek, the same process, just gonna tap the color all over my cheek and really just build it up and get as much color payoff as possible, just creating a beautiful look here. And this one is a little bit more brown, at least in the pan, so I'm curious how it will apply on the cheek. The other one is definitely more purple and kind of purpley pink. This one's a little bit more muted, a little more neutral, so definitely better, I think, for an everyday look. And that was what I found with the other two blushes also. The one for the Evil Queen was a little bit more on the red side. It was a very bright appley red. And then the one for Cruella de Vil had some red in it, but it also had a little bit more of that brown shade, so it was more of a neutral kind of everyday red. And that's kind of what this looks like too. You've got a really kind of bright, vibrant purple for Ursula, and then there's a little hint of purple here on the Maleficent side, but it does have a little bit more of a neutral look to it. So I think that's really cool. In this collection, you can kind of get more of a fun color and a little bit more of an everyday color for both red and purple. And then you can kind of mix and match and you can blend them together, which is what we're gonna do today also. I just wanted to try them out individually and just kind of see what they look like, and then we'll blend them together. So that is both of the blushes. So we've got Maleficent over on this side and then Ursula's on this side. So I think those are really, really pretty. They are definitely different. I feel like the Evil Queen and the Cruella de Vil one that we tried before, they were very similar. These definitely have different colorations to them. So I think they're both beautiful. This one definitely pops a little bit more, but I think they are really pretty. So what I'm gonna do now, because I am going out today, I do want to have more of a even look on my face. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the same, or both the blushes on either side. So I'm gonna go in with that Maleficent shade and I'm gonna blend it in on this side, and we're gonna see how well these kind of blend together and what kind of shade we can create with the two, just to see more of a everyday kind of wearable look using both of the blushes and just kind of seeing what that blush combo can create for us. And this one's just gonna kind of darken up that purple a little bit, kind of mute it a little bit more. That's very pretty. It's starting to, you can definitely see it's starting to kind of mute down a little bit and create more of a similar cohesive look. So now I'm gonna just use that same brush. I'm not gonna clean it off, and I'm gonna go back in with this Ursula shade and just purple up this side a little bit more so that they are cohesive and they will match. I really, really like these blushes. I think they are really nice. They feel very nice on the skin. The pigmentation and the coloration is really pretty. I'm definitely really enjoying using these. So now we've got them a little bit more even, and I think those look really nice together. It's definitely got a purple hint to it, but not overwhelmingly purple or not too dark of a purple. It's more of a wearable kind of color. So I really like that. I think they blend together very nicely. I like them both on their own. So definitely, I think these are really great blushes. So now we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit more color to the cheeks and to the face, and we're gonna add some of the highlighter. So for the highlighters for these two villains, I did go ahead and pick up both from this collection. I thought they were really pretty and definitely felt like the colors were ones that I would wear personally. So I did pick up the Ursula highlighter and then also the Maleficent one. So I think these are really pretty. You can see right here on the packaging, it does have the color of the highlighter. This one's gonna be a little bit more on the white side. This one is called Cast Spell, perfect for Maleficent. And then the Ursula one, you can see the swatch here is gonna be more on the purple side. This one is called Infamous. So I'm really excited to try these out and just see how they apply on the skin. They are jelly highlighters, so they are gonna be a little bit more on the wet side and a little bit on the colder side. So we're just gonna try them out, try a little bit on both sides, and we're just gonna see what both of these colors look like on the skin. Since I am going for a little bit more of a purple look today, I want to start out with the Ursula highlighter, this infamous one. I love the packaging on these. I think they're so cute. You can see some of her icons here. We've got her tentacles, her trident, the crown that she wears, the seashell that she keeps Ariel's voice in. So I think that's really, really cute. It just kind of screws off on the top here. And then it has another little lid just to keep your product safe inside. And then here is our beautiful highlighter that is so pretty. It is such a beautiful little purple shade. So I'm just gonna swipe a little bit of this right here on my cheek. Just kind of go back and forth and apply. And I did notice with the highlighter from the Evil Queen that I tried in the last video, it is not super strong. You saw I swiped it multiple times and it doesn't really leave a whole lot of highlighter. A little bit more as you're just going through the day. As I wore the other look before, I noticed throughout the day I could see it a little bit more in different lighting. So I definitely think it just kind of builds up and then you can just kind of see it throughout the day. So I think it's really pretty. It adds just a little bit of a glow. It is very cold to the touch on your skin as you apply, so definitely just be aware of that as you are making your purchases, that the jelly does kind of create a little bit of a cold feel to it. But I think the color is really pretty. I really like it in the container. It's very kind of iridescent, so I definitely really like these highlighters. They just don't have a whole lot of color payoff. They're very subtle, which is nice. You don't want your highlighter to be overly bright on an everyday, so I think they are really good for an everyday look. On the other cheek, I'm gonna go ahead and try the one for Maleficent. Here is her packaging. You can see kind of her profile. You can see she's got some chains or some handcuff, a hand, her crow, and then her dragon profile as well. So I love the packaging. I think they're so pretty and so cool. I love the purple and green. I think it's perfect for Disney villains. So that was definitely a great design choice. And then we've got that cap on the top. And here is this highlighter. It's so pretty, just white and iridescent. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to swipe this on the other cheek. We'll just try it out. And that one definitely has a little bit more payoff. I can see that one even with just a few swipes. And just kind of blending it into my blush, into my foundation, just so it's not a stark line across the face. I think that's really pretty. So definitely you can see a little more purple on this side and a little bit more of that kind of white silvery look on the other side. So like I said, I am going out today, so I don't want to have anything too different on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of blend the two together. So I'm going to apply that purple one on this side and kind of blend that in. And that's actually really pretty to kind of blend those together. And then I'm going to put the white one over on this side. And the white one, definitely I can already see is starting to pick up the coloration from my other products. So definitely if you don't want anything mixing on your product, you can put it onto a brush, or you can even grab it with your finger and apply it just instead of applying directly to the skin. So I think those actually blend really nicely. I think they look really pretty together. I am going to put a little bit more purple on the top on this side just because I feel like I can really see the purple here. And like I said, I want to go for more of a purpley look today. So I'm going to just kind of let that one kind of speak for itself. So you can definitely start to really see those on the skin. I think they're really pretty, very glowy. I am going to apply a little bit more of the purple just on some of my high points on my face. So here on my chin, apply just a little bit right here between my lips and my nose, along the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and here in the center of my forehead. And just apply them. You can definitely see the purple there. I'm going to blend that in just a little bit with my finger and just make sure that I don't have any blobs on my face, just nice and blended in. So I think that's really, really pretty. It definitely, I think the jelly highlighter is really something that gives that very dewy look. I noticed that in the last video. I didn't really notice it before I put the highlighter on. And now I can start to kind of see a little bit more of a shiny kind of glow to the face. So I think the highlighter works really well. It creates a very pretty effect. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm really excited about the eyeshadow palette. So let's go ahead and take some swatches and then we'll get into our tutorial. While the eyeshadow palette from the Evil Queen and Cruella de Vil was more pink and red and more on the warm side, this one for Maleficent and for Ursula is a little more on the purple and blue side, and it's definitely much more cooler tones. So I love that they have a warm tone and a cool tone eyeshadow palette in this collection. I think that's really cool. It is beautiful packaging. You can see both of our beautiful villains here on the front, and then here is our beautiful color story. I think this one is really pretty. There are some very interesting shades here, so I'm really excited to swatch these and see what they look like on my arm, and then to create a tutorial today with these. I'm loving just all of the purple and the blue and the green vibes in this. Definitely in the other palette, I felt like the blue shade was kind of unexpected. It was sort of unique to the palette, and for me, the green one does that in this palette. It just kind of stands out. It's a little bit different than all the other shades. All the other ones are a little bit more in the purple and blue kind of family, and then we've got this beautiful kind of evil slime Disney villain green that really pops and shines, and I'm definitely excited to play with that. I think I want to try to figure out a way to use it in the tutorial today. So let's go ahead and start our swatches. As I mentioned in the last video, Wet n Wild, they tend to put the shade names here on the back of the palette. So I'm going to be kind of going back and forth so I can tell you the shade names as we take the swatches. So we are going to start here in this first row with this beautiful pink shade. This one is called Aurora, perfectly fitting for our beautiful Disney princess. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that right here on the skin. Very light, very pretty pink, definitely very princessy, so I really like that one. I did have a little bit of fallout with it, you may have noticed. So definitely, I think that comes a little bit more just with doing the swatches. So just being careful with your eyeshadow and making sure that you are just going gently and applying gently. The next one is called Contract. This is going to be a little bit more of a neutral kind of brown tan type shade. I like the matte so far. These have both been matte. They are very light. Well, I say that. The brown one is a matte. This one has a little bit of sparkle in it. You might be able to see that. Just very faint sparkles in it. So it is a matte, but it has a little bit of a glitter. And then this one is really pretty, just kind of a nice neutral brown, definitely good for an everyday look, or maybe just as a transition shade in your crease. Definitely would be good for something like that. The next shade is called Potion. This is a really pretty shimmer. I'm very intrigued by this one, so I'm excited to try this out. It's very pretty on the skin, so let's swatch it here on the arm. This one looks like a little bit more of just a glitter. Not necessarily a shimmer, but it's just kind of got kind of more of like a packed glitter kind of look to it. It's got a little bit of space in between the glitter particles, so this would definitely be good as maybe a topper just to add a little bit of glitter or glimmer to your look. And then the last color on the first row is called Sorcery, and this one is really pretty. It looks kind of like a very light kind of baby blue shimmer. Very pretty. That kind of reminds me of Cinderella a little bit with her blue dress. Very pretty. So that is the first row. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second row. So we are taking a look at these colors here. The first one is sort of a light purple. This one is called Voice Theft. This is an Ursula shade. Just a nice kind of light lilac type purple. The next one is called Siren. This one is really pretty. It's a beautiful shimmery shade. Oh wow, that is really pretty on the finger. This one is kind of like this one up here. It's a little bit more of just kind of a packed glitter. So it's got a little bit of kind of patchiness in between the shades and just in between the glitter particles. That is a beautiful color though. I love the glitter in that one. The next one is called Sea Witch. This one is really pretty. Wow. Yeah, let me grab a little bit more so we can really see the impact and the punch this shade makes. That is really, really pretty. This one looks a little bit more maybe like a duochrome. I don't know, it doesn't necessarily look like that in the pan. It's a little bit more of a solid purple. It is very pretty though. It's kind of just got a nice kind of underglow and shimmer to it. You can see it in the light. It looks a little bit more on the skin like a duochrome, kind of more like a purple and then maybe brown or green. It is pretty. And then the last one on this row is called Tentacles. It's very, very pigmented, very pretty, nice, beautiful shimmer. That is gorgeous. I love that shade. It's kind of got just a slight bit of a teal look in the pan, but it's definitely very blue, very shiny and mesmerizing on the skin. So that is the second row in the palette. Let's take a look at the third. So next are going to be these shades right here. The very first one, that beautiful rich purple, is called Thorns. That is really pretty. It's a nice, beautiful royal purple, perfect for Maleficent. The next one is called Dragon. This is going to be a little bit more of a rich shimmer. Kind of a beautiful reddish maroon type shade. The next one is one I'm really excited about. We talked about earlier. It's called Spindle. It is that beautiful green shade. Beautiful and unexpected in this palette. Wow, that is really, really pretty. It's very shimmery. That is so beautiful. It definitely stands out in this collection, even in the swatches. I think that is so gorgeous. And then the last one on this row is called Deep Sea. I'm very intrigued by this one. It looks kind of like a duochrome in the pan. It's just got a lot of different colors when I look at it. That is stunning. That is so pretty. I think it's got a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue, maybe some silver in there. Stunning. So these are our swatches so far. Let's take a look at the final row in the palette. And now we are looking here at this final row, definitely the darkest of all four. The first one is called Revenge. And this one's really pretty. It kind of almost looks black with a little bit of purple in it. That is really pretty. It really kind of just comes across as a matte black. If you can see, it definitely has a little bit of purple glitter in there. So definitely it's a little bit unexpected and different from the Disguise shade, which was more of a matte black that was in the other palette. The next one is called Curse. This one is a nice, beautiful, buttery brown shade. You can see I've got just a little bit of fallout. Very pretty. Next is Flotsam. That is beautiful. That's more of a deep, dark kind of teal type shade. Really, really pretty. And then the last one right next to it is Jetsam. So perfect to go for Ursula's little henchman. And here is our last shade. Very pretty, nice and deep and dark. Let me kind of darken that up a little bit for us. Very, very pretty. So these are all 16 of our shades from this palette. I think these are absolutely stunning. The name of this palette is Beautiful Destroyer. Definitely perfect for Maleficent and Ursula. So this is the Beautiful Destroyer palette swatched out. I'm really excited to create a beautiful look with this palette. I will say that I noticed in the same thing with this palette that I did with the other one. It looks a little bit different in the swatches than it does in the pan. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think these are beautiful shades, but it definitely does look a little bit different than how they look in here. So just kind of be aware of that. But I think these are beautiful shades, stunning shimmers, beautiful mattes. I think there's probably more mattes in this one. I don't know, maybe more kind of a mixture of the glitters and the mattes and the shimmers. So I think there's a wide variety, so you can make a lot of different looks, and I think this turned out really pretty. So let's go ahead and get into our tutorial for today. I went ahead and primed my eyes with my Ulta Beauty Pigment Pop Eye Primer, so we are ready to go with our eyeshadow look. I am going to go in with my Ulta Fluffy Blending Brush, and we're going to go ahead and dive into this beautiful palette. So I think that I want to go for mostly a purple look, and then kind of matching my earrings, kind of a purple look with a little bit of blue, a little bit of green, maybe a little bit of pink. So I think for my mattes, I'm gonna go in with kind of a pinky purple kind of look, maybe a little bit of green in there. So I'm mostly gonna be using this column over here, and then I think I'm gonna dip into this shade just a little bit just to kind of blend that green in. So I'm gonna start with this first shade up here, Aurora, and just go ahead and dip into this with my brush. This is very pigmented. I barely touched it and it picked a lot up. So I'm gonna be very careful applying so I don't get too much fallout, and also just making sure that I don't overpower each of the colors by using too much pigment on any one of them. So I just wanna be kind of light-handed. And I'm gonna use this beautiful pink shade as sort of my transition shade in my crease. Just go ahead and kind of start out light and then get into some of those darker shades and create kind of a smoky look on the outside of the outer corner of the eye. So just kind of blending this across, very light-handed, just kind of blending it in, going right into that crease on my eye socket, making sure everything is nice and blended in. It's a really pretty shade. It's very pretty, very light. It's interesting that they have one shade that is based on a princess, because I don't feel like this palette or the other palette really had any others based on the princesses, so that was interesting. So that one's the Aurora shade, really, really pretty. I'm gonna go in with this shade next. This one is Voice Theft. Just pick up a little bit and just kind of start layering that right there on top of that Aurora shade, starting to go a little bit more into the purple, this is more of kind of a pinky purple, so it's a really good transition in between the Aurora shade and then some of the other purples that we're going to dive into. So just kind of going right on top of it, deepening things up, darkening it out, starting to get more of that smoky effect. That's really pretty. Those are really pretty together. They create a very just kind of pretty princessy kind of look, which is fun for a Disney Villains collection. So I think this is really cool. I like how that's looking together. All right, we're gonna continue deepening up, going into this next purple shade. This one is Thorns. And very pretty on the brush. I'm gonna kind of go into my eyelid a little bit on the outer corner and then kind of blending up into the crease here. That is really pretty, definitely getting more of that purple look that I was hoping for. Very, very pretty. And I love that all of the shades in here, they're very pigmented and they're very blendable. I think they go together really, really nicely. They look really pretty on the skin, and they definitely have a lot of color payoff, so that's really nice, definitely for a drugstore brand. Next, I'm gonna go into this one right here, start adding a little bit of green. I don't wanna add a lot, but I'm gonna just put it right here on my eyelid in the outer corner, start deepening that up for a smoky eye. So this one was Flotsam. Just pick up just a little bit on my brush and just right here in this outer corner, just kind of tapping it in to help blend it without kind of overpowering those other colors. And I just want just a little hint of green just to kind of tie in with that green shimmer that we're gonna add later. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this here, and definitely blending in with the purples. I think it's giving more of a purple effect than a green effect. It is getting overpowered a little more than I was hoping it would, but that's okay. It's kind of creating a really cool purpley kind of color, so I'm not even mad about it. Alright, so that is really pretty, and then I want to deepen and darken everything up on the outer corner a little bit more. So I'm going to go in with this last shade on this column here. This one was called Revenge. It's kind of that black with a little bit of purple glitter in it. So just kind of using that kind of like a black matte out here on the outer corner just to really kind of deepen up our smoky eye. So again, just kind of tapping it in so we don't overpower any other shades, and pulling it up into the crease just a little bit just to create that smoky effect. That is really pretty. It definitely adds a little bit just to kind of darken up the look. I really like how this is turning out. This is very, very pretty, very purpley. Definitely very kind of majestic like the Disney villains and the villainesses. Going very deeply into this part on my crease where my eye folds, just making sure I don't have that harsh line there. I'm really just blending everything together very seamlessly. This is beautiful. I love the purples. I love how all these all the mattes and the shimmers all just kind of blend together and create a very cohesive look. Alright, so those are our mattes. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the shimmers on the eyelid. To prep my eyes for the shimmers that we're going to apply, I went ahead and used my NYX glitter primer. So I've got that on my eyelid. And now I kind of want to go into a transition from purple into blue. I kind of want to use some of the blue shimmers from this palette and kind of create a little bit more of an unexpected look on the eyelid. So I'm going to be using these three right here on the edge and just kind of creating a little bit of an ombre effect across the eye. So I'm going to start with the darkest shade first, this one right here, kind of putting that where those mattes meet the shimmers on my eyelid and just kind of creating that transition effect. So right here, this one is called Deep Sea. So I'm going to just pick some of this up on my finger. I thought this was a really pretty shade. It's kind of got some purple and blue, and I think that'll be the perfect transition shade right here, kind of on the center of the eyelid. So I'm just going to tap this right here where I put my glitter primer and right against that matte, just so it can kind of create that transition from the dark mattes into the lighter shimmer shades. So just putting this right here on the center of my eyelid. Just kind of blending it into any kind of blank spaces here. That is really pretty. It's definitely got a great shimmer on the eye. Coming up into my crease just a little bit. And then we're going to start transitioning into our blues. So I'm going to go into this shade right here. This one is called Tentacles. And just pick this up on my finger as well. And I'm just going to kind of tap this right here. Because I'm using three shades, I'm going to kind of do thirds. So I did about 1/3 with the Deep Sea, 1/3 with Tentacles, and then on that last shade, we'll put it right here, kind of on the inner corner. So just making sure I leave room for all my shades. That is really pretty on the eye. I really like this Tentacle shade a lot. I think it's got a really pretty shimmer to it. Kind of got a little bit of an ocean iridescence to it, so I think that's really pretty. And then the last blue shade we're going to use is this one up here. This one is called Sorcery. I'm just going to grab this on my pinky, so I've got just the smallest amount of surface area. And I'm going to apply this right here on this inner corner and just kind of blending them all together as I'm applying. Just tapping it right in here. And then I've kind of got some on my fingers. I'll pick up a little bit more product and just, I don't want to lose that Tentacles shade or overpower it. So just kind of going back in and just kind of blending as needed to kind of maintain the shades that we want, and just so we don't lose any of that pigmentation or that coloration. I love how these three look together. That is so, so pretty all the way across the eyelid. I think that just looks so nice. We're gonna go back in with Sorcery and add a little bit here on this inner corner. That is so pretty. And then just kind of going back in and kind of filling in those shades. That is beautiful. I'm so happy with how those kind of create that beautiful effect across the eye. I love that all of these kind of have that sort of ocean vibe to them. So they are really pretty together, very iridescent, very, very pretty. So now we've kind of got the top of our eyelids done. So let's go ahead and kind of move into the lower lash line and we'll add a little bit more color there. To work on the lower lash line, I'm going to be using an Ulta Beauty flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to go back into this light purple shade called Voice Theft. And I'm going to just pick some of this up on the end of my brush, and I'm just going to line it all the way underneath my eyelid and under my lash line, just to start to create a light base that we can use to deepen and darken up to create our smoky look. I love this shade. It is such a beautiful purple. And just kind of pulling it up into that outer corner just so everything is nice and blended together, and just kind of filling in any blank spaces there. So that is a really pretty base. We're gonna go ahead and darken it up with this other purple shade. This one was called Thorns. And again, just picking it up on my brush. I'm gonna do this about maybe 2/3 of my eyelid. That way I've got a little bit of that first purple shade kind of showing here, and we're just starting to darken up as it moves to the outer corner, kind of creating a blended ombre effect. And then again, of course, pulling it up into this outer corner just so everything blends together and is connected. Alright, that is really pretty. I'm loving all of the purple. So now we're going to start kind of deepening things up. I think next, I actually want to try to use this shimmer a little bit, kind of like a matte, just to kind of see how that plays with the other colors. So this one is called Sea Witch. Using that same brush, I'm just going to pick a little bit up, and just hopefully it'll be just kind of a little bit of a darker purple. So I'm going to put this maybe on like the outer half of my lower lash line and just kind of blend it in. Just because it's a new palette and I want to play with the different colors, so I just wanted to try this out and just see how it would look. I think it's just deepening up just a little bit, just kind of blending in with those other purples. It's pretty similar to that Thorns shade that we use, so it's just kind of blending into it. I just figured we'd try it and see what it looked like. That is really pretty. The next shade I'm gonna go ahead and just go into that kind of black shade on the bottom. This one was called Revenge. And really just kind of deepening up this outer third of the lower lash line. Really just kind of blending into that outer corner where we had our nice deep smoky eye, and creating a very smoky effect on the lower lash line as well. And as I did in the last video, I'm kind of turning my brush flat and just kind of using that to just sort of blend everything into each other, just so we don't have any harsh lines or anything is too dark. I definitely don't want to have a black line under my eye. I want it to really be blended in. So just taking my time, applying as needed, and really just kind of blending up into this outer corner. That is really pretty. Now I definitely want to have a little bit of punch of color in this, so I really want to play with this green shade. I know I've been talking a lot about it. I'm really excited about it. So I think I'm going to apply this right here in this kind of inner corner of my lower lash line, just to kind of give it a little pop and a little punch and something just unexpected in this look. So I went ahead and cleaned off my flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into that shade. This one again was called Spindle. And just kind of picking just a little bit up on my brush. And then I do want it to have a nice pop of pigment, so I'm going to use some setting spray, give it a quick spritz, and that will help to really just kind of make it pop more. So I'm just going to apply this right here, kind of on this inner part of my eyelid, just kind of blending in to all of that purple that we had. That is beautiful. That is exactly what I wanted that to look like. So that is so, so pretty. And then just another spritz, and we'll apply on the other side. I absolutely love this green shade. If you can't tell, I think it is so cool. It's perfect for all the Disney villains. For whatever reason, Disney villains always have green. They always have that kind of lime green shade, and that is just a shade of evil, I guess. So that is perfect to go in this collection. I definitely love that they included that. I'm gonna use my finger just a little bit just to kind of soften this part right here where things blend in together. Just so I don't have a harsh line, it just kind of goes with the other shades. Just kind of blending in. I think that is really cool. It's really fun. Adds a little extra pop of color. It matches the green on my earring. I think that is really, really fun. So just to finish up our look, we're gonna add just a little bit of shimmer. I think I may add a little bit more shimmer on the top and on the inner corner just to really finish up this look. As I was doing the swatches, I was very intrigued by these two kind of packed glitter shades. So I definitely want to try those out and kind of see how they perform on the eye as well. So I think I'm going to go in with this top shade right here, and I'm going to just kind of pat that on the top of my eyelid just to add a little bit of an extra glitter to this look. So this one is called Potion. That is a very fitting name for this shade. It's really, really pretty. So I'm just going to kind of pat this right on top to see if we can add just maybe a little more glitter to this look. I don't want to overpower those other shimmers. I thought they were really pretty, but just kind of add just a little bit extra. You can kind of see it just adds a little bit of glitter and just kind of makes this a little bit of a shinier look. So just kind of tapping that across the eyelid and just adding that. I think that's really pretty. That actually added a lot to this look. A lot of dimension and just kind of extra pizzazz to it. I'm really happy that I did that. And then I'm gonna go in just with this small detailing brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and try this pink shade as the inner corner shade. And I think that'll really kind of pull in that Aurora shade and kind of bring out some pink. So this one is called Siren. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit on my brush, and I want it to have as much impact as possible. So I'm gonna give it a spritz of setting spray, and then just kind of tap this right here on this inner corner, just kind of blending up and down as needed so that it kind of goes in with the other colors and the other shade. I really like that. That's pretty. It's just a nice unexpected pop of glitter. Of course, you can't have too much glitter, and like I've been saying, I love how much glitter and shimmer they have in this collection. It's a little unexpected. You would think things would be a lot more just kind of dark and broody just for the villains, but I think really all these glitters and shimmers are perfect for all of their fun and just vibrant personalities. They are just so fabulous, all of the Disney villainesses. So I think that's a really fun and just a really good touch for this collection. So I am very, very happy with how this is turning out. I think that this look is really pretty. I am absolutely loving just that there are so many unique shades and so many unique colors in this collection and in this particular palette with all the blues and pinks and purples and green, but they all go together so beautifully. It is a great color story, and I love that I use so many different shimmers, so many different colors on the eye, and they all just blend seamlessly. It looks really, really fun together. So I'm so happy with how this look is turning out. I'm gonna step off camera, apply some eyeliner and some mascara, and then I'll be back just to show you the final look and to apply some of the setting spray from this collection and share some of my initial thoughts about this collection with you. And here's the completed look with the eyeliner and with the mascara. I think this is such a pretty look. For my eyeliner, I did go ahead and do another cat eye, just like I did in the other Disney Villains video that I created. I used the same eyeliner. This is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner in Ultra Black. And then I tight lined across the top using my Ulta Beauty Automatic Eyeliner in Matte Black. And then for my lower waterline, I decided since I have the purple and the green to kind of do a mixture of eyeliners. So I did go in with the automatic eyeliner in Matte Bright Purple from Ulta Beauty. And then on this very inner corner where I have the green, I decided that some green would be kind of fun. And so I have this kind of multi-chrome eyeliner from ColourPop. It's a BFF cream gel liner in Wild Idea. It's a really pretty eyeliner. It's got kind of a duochrome to it or multi-chrome to it, so I thought that would go really well with that green. And then for my mascara, my Old Faithful here, and the Tarte Man-Eater Waterproof Mascara. It's one of my favorites, so I went ahead and went in with those things. I think this turned out really, really pretty. I'm very happy with how it looked. And then of course, to finish off this look, we're going to do what we did in the last video and go in with the finishing mist that comes with this collection. It's called Sinfully Sweet. This one does have all 4 of the villainesses on it, and so we went ahead and used this in the last video for the Evil Queen and Cruella de Vil collection aspects that we looked at, and then today for Maleficent and Ursula I wanted to just go ahead and use the same thing. So this one, it does say to shake it well, so giving it just a quick shake. And then I love this is my favorite part. You can see all of these glitter particles inside of the mist. I think it is just so pretty. It is beautiful packaging. And I noticed on the last video, it doesn't really go on with glitter. It goes on just kind of like a clear matte setting spray. So, but it does give just a little bit of a dewy hint to your look. So we'll go ahead and apply some, and that will finish up our look for today. And it smells really good. I forgot about that from the last video. It smells beautiful. It smells like a candy apple. So it's a really nice product to use. It, like I said, it kind of gives just a little dewy finish to your look. So I think it's really pretty. I think it's really nice. And it's a great addition to this collection. So this is the final look for this collection today. I'm so happy with how this eye look turned out. I think it is beautiful. The blushes are great. The highlighters were great. So I'm just really pleased with how this turned out. So just to share some of just my initial thoughts about this collection with you, I'll start out with the blushes. I think these are really great quality. They are absolutely beautiful. I love the packaging on them. I love the designs on the actual blushes themselves. I think that they are really pretty. I really like the shades and the colors that they chose. I think they are very fitting for the different villains. I think they really captured their personalities and their just kind of their essence in this collection very well. I definitely feel like these are very different. I thought they would apply more purple, both of them, but the Ursula one, that Sea Witch one, it is definitely more on the purple side, and then the Maleficent one called Dark Wings, it is definitely a little bit more of a neutral on the brown side. So I really think if you like these and you like cream blushes, these are great ones to pick up. I think that they are different enough that it would be worthwhile to get them both. The ones that I tried in the other video, they were both kind of similar when you applied them on the face, but I felt like these were pretty different. And also, I love that you can apply both of them at the same time, blend them together, and create a really nice blush combo. So I think those are great quality. They're really pretty, and I think they're definitely worth picking up from this collection. The next things that we tried were the highlighters. I love the packaging. I think the packaging on all of the aspects of these collections are great. They did a fantastic job. And then the shades for the highlighters I thought were really pretty. So we've got the one for Ursula. It was called Infamous. That was that purple one. And then the one for Maleficent, that was more of that white shade. This one was called Cast Spell. I thought both of these were beautiful. I thought they did a really great job on creating a very nice kind of light sheen. I definitely took a couple of swipes on each of them to really get any kind of color payoff. I did think that the white went on a little bit brighter, and it really kind of created more of an apparent look than the purple. The purple was a lot more subtle, but I definitely think that they are really pretty. I put them again on all the high points on my face. I think it gives just a nice kind of soft, kind of slightly wet, kind of dewy, shiny finish. I really think they're great quality. They feel nice when you put them on, just kind of that cold feel. If you're not into the cold feel, maybe you might want to skip these, but with that jelly highlighter component to it, I think that it has a very nice application, and definitely just a nice kind of subtle shine to your face, not too impactful, not too strong. So definitely if you want just kind of an everyday highlighter, I think those are a really great go-to. And then next was the eyeshadow palette. I am in love with this eyeshadow palette. I think it created a beautiful look. It is so pretty, so shiny. I love the combination of the mattes and the shimmers and the glitters. I thought they had a lot of contrast in the types of eyeshadows that they had, but I think the color story goes together beautifully. So I'm really, really happy with how these turned out. Again, they don't swatch exactly on the skin how they look in the pan, so just keeping that in mind, but I think that the color story is really pretty. I think that the different colors really go together well. I think you can make a lot of versatile looks from the pinks to the purples, blues, and greens. I think you have a lot of options here, or you can do what I did and kind of put all of them together in one look. The quality is great. They are very pigmented, very blendable, very buildable. So I definitely think this is a great product. I love the cooler tones in this palette versus the Cruella de Vil and Evil Queen one that had more of that kind of warm tone with the reds and the pinks. So I think that's really cool that they have the two eyeshadow palettes. Maybe if one of them speaks to you a little bit more than the other, or if you're more of a cool tone person or a warm tone person, you might just want to pick up one of them. But I really like having both. I think they'd be fun to kind of mix and match together. So I'm really, really happy with both of the eyeshadow palettes and the way that they perform and the way that they show up on the eyes. And then finally, just a quick second use of the finishing mist. I think that this is really, really pretty. I love all of the glitter in it. I love that it has all 4 of the villainesses from this collection on it. I think it is a really great product. It gives just a nice little glow and shine to the face. So I would recommend it. I think it smells really good. It feels really good. And really, I don't think you can go wrong with it. Thank you so much for watching this second video of the Wet n Wild X Disney Villains collection. I have had so much fun trying out all the different products for all of these different villainesses and creating 2 different very unique looks with you. I really like these products. I think they look great, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below what your thoughts were about this particular look. And also, I was thinking it might be fun to put together a video using both of the eyeshadow palettes and putting one look together. But I'd love to hear from you. Is that something you'd be interested in seeing? If it is, I would definitely look into creating that video for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more tutorials and more makeup collections, then please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.